Thank you for joining me, everyone. It's Varangian, and we are going to be talking about the new PTR of 7.3.2. So, I guess before we begin, this contains spoilers of 7.3.2 and possibly even further. Now, my theory was that we would use our weapons to stop a portal from Sargeras coming in, but we know that Sargeras will come and see us at the seat of the Pantheon on Argus. However, we will trap him, and it's still a little bit unclear how, but the Argus, the Unmaker fight, can kind of give us a tiny bit of insight to it. Bound, broken, aeons of existence knowing only pain, a shattered soul fueling infinite evil. The Master beckons, rise, rise, begin the end of all things. The speaker has heard the anguished whispers of the Unmaker, an emerald star calling out from within the darkness. Little is known of him, only that his once noble soul has been twisted by ages of endless torment. So it seems that the Argus fight will also be fighting him as sort of a light, but most importantly, him as shadow. So at the end of the fight in stage 4, we die. So similar to the Lich King killing us with Frostmourne, and I kind of like us dying. Again, I guess getting our butts kicked is something that Blizzard likes to show now. The Titans, though, resurrect us, and they give us each gift similar to the Deathwing fight. So there's still kind of a bit of both worlds there. We get the gift of the Lifebinder, we get Khaz'goroth's aid as well, and we also get to become Titan Forged. Khaz'goroth reforges players in his image, granting damage and healing, etc., movement speed. So it seems like we're going to have to protect the Titans to kind of give us that power. Also, Yogg-Saron's fight, I guess, a little bit more like that. It's really, really cool, and I guess it kind of gives a tiny bit of an insight. So when Sargeras shows up, and this is Sargeras' Last Gambit, he throws something at Azeroth. Now, Magni said that it was a flaming sword in the sky, that there would be rivers of blood in the sand, which we got this new cool map called of Silithus. But I'm assuming that this is Sargeras' last attempt to kill Azerothian, the soul that's within the earth. I said this before, that there's a theory that it probably was disproven, but there was a theory a while ago that the old gods were actually twisted from souls within planets, and that's how we got old gods. You know, the Titans are relatively new because they were freed, I guess, before the old gods, but that's just a theory. I think it's been disproven now that there's no idea where they came from. Blizzard will, of course, add that. So what the hell does this mean? Well, it seems that we keep our weapons after the imprisonment of Sargeras, I believe. It hasn't said in this patch note. It'd be cool if we lost it there, because I prophesized that in order to close a portal, that someone would have to sacrifice themselves to close the portal, and of course our weapons. But turns out it's the other way around. We need a jailer to keep Sargeras imprisoned, which, Illidan, you're up. Finally, we get to get rid of you for a while. He'll be back again. He always comes back. But if we use our weapons to hold him in place, it would make sense as well. So the portal closing, keeping Sargeras imprisoned, close. But I'm not going to give myself that much credit. I was wrong. It was close, but it was still wrong. But this still wonders, what was he trying to do? And again, I stated my theory that I believe that it was hopefully just meant to pierce and kill Azerothian. But maybe there's a different theory. You see, in the Elganoth voices, let's say if we take these all as true, the old gods already know what's going to happen. So I've already stated that I think that he threw his sword at Azeroth, hoping to kill the soul within it, hoping to pierce down far enough just to destroy her, his one last act of defiance. Or maybe he was just going to release Yogg-Saron, saying, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. That also could be. But Il'gynoth even said, her heart is a crater, and we have filled it. Meaning, if he pierced her and killed her, we could be seeing the birth of a new old god. He says the King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. Magni told us to go to Argus to stop Sargeras. We go to Argus, we set these events in motion to kill Azerothian, and for the old god to be released. Again, it could be a new old god, and I'm leaning towards it. But who knows? But a lot of this kind of disproves the theories, especially the leaks that I read, that sort of off, but no leak is perfect. No leak has ever been definitive. There's been hidden truths. Even the greatest lies have hidden truths in them. Its surface blazes bright, masking shadows below. Of course, this is the wound of Azeroth. Flesh is his gift. He is your true creator. Which he's sort of right. Without the curse of flesh, none of these events would have been put into place. The old gods are kind of like masters of not just manipulation, but of also sight. You could talk about the light all you want. We still don't know the light's true intentions, especially the rejection that Illidan gave of the gift. If he believed in the light so much, he would have accepted it. But maybe he sees something in the light that nobody else can see. But who knows? Am I saying let's turn our back on the light? Hell no. It's weird that he's right. I mean, the old ones are our true creators. Without the curse of flesh, nothing would have been put into motion. But that also could lead into another Il'gynoth's voice lines that was, "Your coming was foretold in the rings. The long circle is nearly complete." You see, Il'gynoth talks about the long circle. Sargeras talks about the great circle. Are they one of the same thing? Are they two of the same vision? I don't think Sargeras was corrupted by an old god. I think he's just lashing out as Sargeras does. But the old gods are really this giant wild card, and we have yet to see what's to become. A presence, he says, something new yet familiar. Yes. And I think that could also have to do with Chromie's scenario, which will lead into the next expansion. Something new yet familiar. So, it's going to be really cool to see all this stuff. Another point in the fight, even Il'gynoth said, "What a pointless impudence. We share a master." So, what the hell does that mean, we share a master? I mean, are we just lashing out against our true masters? Are we going to be the ones to doom the universe? Are we going to become the bad guys? That'd be pretty cool if we did. Maybe another MMO will get made of all the bad guys from here. But they introduced Draenor as a plot device, that we can go to different realities, we can go to different times, and I'm pretty sure this is going to play a bigger role in the future to come. If we need something to interrupt this great circle, we need something to stop it. But how can we? If we've played into the old god's hand perfectly, how can we stop ourselves from becoming the self-fulfilling prophecy? Because that's what we're doing. Like I said, he said that he's the one that warned us that the King of Diamonds has been made a pawn, and the King of Diamonds sent us to Argus to stop Sargeras, who threw a sword at Azeroth, thus maybe killing, we don't know yet, but maybe killing Azerothian and either birthing a new god or being able to corrupt her husk, turning her into something we've never seen before. Especially since N'Zoth is so close to breaking free, and we could thank Ajara for working tirelessly to ensure that, and even Deathwing, when he emerged from the world, I'm sure he shook one of those prisons loose. So, how the hell are we going to be able to stop this? This raises so many more questions, and I love that. I love just the deep storyline of this, and it's getting good. Now, the last thing, of course, that Il'gynoth has said is N'Zoth, I journey to Ny'alotha. Ny'alotha sounds really cool. And even, it's cool that he mentions Ny'alotha, because we've seen evidence of Ny'alotha in not only the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron, but in Zal-Hathol, the desecrated image of Gorhal, which it's close to Zal-Atoth, isn't it? And even Zal-Atoth mentions that this city of elves pales in comparison to the sleeping city, which is Ny'alotha. Even in Stormheim, she says, "Do not be impressed by icons of titans which stand here. The towers of sacrifice in Ny'alotha dwarf these pathetic temples." So Ny'alotha is going to be, I think, a huge part, and if not the next expansion, then it's going to be a huge part in the future. The Sleeping City sounds really cool, but there's also a little piece of the puzzle left of where N'Zoth is. Another piece of the puzzle says, "In the sunken city he lays dreaming." Then that suggests that Ny'alotha is where N'Zoth is. The drowned god's heart is black ice. Ny'alotha is probably the prison in which they're keeping N'Zoth. Ny'alotha could be a raid, it could be a zone. It's really hard to kind of make out what's going to happen. Of course, next expansion is next expansion. So how does the ending of this change my theory? Well, I think we're going to go there to Silithus. They're going to, of course, try and find a way to close the wound or heal the wound. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. You know, the old god will probably be released. Who knows? Maybe that struck his final prison. It was weakening anyway. Maybe that sword was the last thing he needs to awaken from Nyalotha. It's going to be really interesting to see where they take this. But anyway, there's just a couple of cool snippets. Again, Silithus, also, you know, the fight of Argus the Unmaker kind of sheds a little bit of light on what's to come. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Thank you guys very much for watching. What do you think? Do you think that N'Zoth sleeps in Nyalotha? What do you think Sargeras was trying to do? Think he was trying to kill her? Release him? What's his gambit? What's his end game? And what do you think the Great Circle is? And do you think we can stop it? Please let me know in the comments below. And until next time, guys, take care.
A lot of you will still wish you hadn't come this way. I was... Who will...